So now we look up and we see that from our perspective on Earth, the sun has moved out of the 62 and into the 31. And the 31 brings a very, very different flavor. We're into the voices. We're in the bottom right-hand corner there where the purple stripes are, that the last four voices that we're going to go through. And the 31 is the voice of influence. So close up there, again, bottom trigram, broken, solid, the symbol for mountains, stillness, right? This is this whole 8 hexagrams here that have that as their bottom hexagram, bottom trigram. And in the top, we have solid, broken, tui, the water, the lake, the joyous. So 31 is this voice of influence. And influence is in the logic circuitry. The 31 is in the logic circuitry in human design, and it has a tone of voice that is very much, people want to listen to it. So if you've got the 31 in your chart, you'll know there are those situations in life where people just want to hear what it is you have to say, regardless of whether they're important to you or not. And you sometimes have to be really careful, like who's hearing you, what it is that they're interpreting, because the 31 is very direct. It's very logical in its output, very, as we say, influential. So here we are, we got the life theme of the unexpected, right? And those of you that have this life theme, you will know perfectly well. Life brings all kinds of interesting things. Sometimes it's you that's challenging the whole scenario. Other times it's the things just happen to you. And let's have a look how this comes about. The 31, conscious sun. And if we go opposite side of the wheel, the 41 is the gate I call imagination. And the 41 is the start codon in genetics. It's where everything starts from. And it starts from our imagination. And you might wonder, what am I doing in this lifetime? Why did I come in for this life experience? Well, it's part of the imagination. Existence having an experience of herself through us in 3D. And we got our own little neighborhood here. We're surrounded by all these star fields with all their very particular influences. And then we got our little solar system here with the planetary influences. And of course, the greatest influences from our conscious sun. So here in the 31, and how we paint our picture, you might say, in 3D, planet Earth. And what are the rules and regulations and how things get to play out in 3D. And is it possible, to raise this quality of life here to a high quality, a high frequency? So the 41 giving us this backdrop of imagination. In our imagination, what can we dream up? What will be the most amazing life experience that we could possibly have? And then we look at the unconscious sun, the 27, which is a gate of nourishment. How do we nourish ourselves? Are we stuck onto negative media? Are we stuck onto reading good books? Do we like good movies? Do we like walks in nature? How do we nourish ourselves? What kind of foods do we give ourselves? How do we replenish ourselves so that we can have the greatest life experience? And then the unconscious earth in the 28. The 28 is a very interesting gate. It's the gate we call the game player, the game being life, the game of life. And it's all about, it's the gateway that exists between life and death. It's the memory of life and death. And it's a fascinating gateway in a sense of, while we're here in life, let's have an extraordinary celebration. Let's do a really amazing dance through life. And when we're dead, okay, fine, that's the end of the story. And so part of the journey here is to get over our fear of death, because life and death are two sides of the same coin. There's two sides of the same thing. So the unexpected, right? If this life theme basically means you are not going to have a dull lifetime, right? There's going to be all these different things playing out. The 31, the influence, like, are you influential, or who influences you? What do you follow? What really interests you in life? The 41, what's your imagination? What can you dream up for yourself to be an amazing life experience, right? We have this opportunity here in 3D. We've got these amazing bodies that'll take us into all kinds of situations. We've got great minds, and we choose to replenish them with something worthwhile. And then we got the 27, which is all about how do we nourish ourselves? What's the quality of that? and the 28 saying, look, live life to the max, squeeze the juice out of life. So the unexpected opens up into all kinds of different possibilities. And those that have this life theme, they have to grow up very, very quickly, right? They have to get it. Life throws them in a situation. The 31's the voice of influence. People are interested to what it is you have to say, how you pronounce yourself, how you show up. Are you an imaginative being? Can you be creative in that regard? Do you bring nourishing presence? Are you prepared to dance your way through life, or are you already concerned, well, I'm going to die, and it's going to be all over one day, so why bother, right? So the unexpected, right? As I say, this is not a dull lifetime. This is not a dull part of the wheel when the sun goes into the 31. So some of the people that have this life theme, Sandra Bullock, extraordinary actress. She's also a reflector. So necessarily she has to be very spontaneous and very clear in who and what works well with her. Mick Jagger, fancy that, right? An extraordinary performer, had to grow up really fast, and really an example of somebody that lives life to the full. Amelia Earhart, right? This extraordinary woman who challenged aviation. And better believe it, Carl Jung, right? The founder of an extraordinary line of psychology and that human experience of consciousness. So the unexpected get drawn into all kinds of different things in life. Then the sun moves on, it goes into the 4-1, the fixed fate. And here we have the conscious sun in the 31 and the earth in the 41. But the unconscious sun has moved on into gateway number 24, and the unconscious earth into the gate 44. Now the 24 and the 44 being opposites, these are two gateways of movement, right? The 24 is returning, that is going back inside. I call it the gateway of deep thought. It's up in the mind center, and it's kind of qualifying. What's the truth here? I'm really looking for resolution. I really want to work out what it is that's going on here. So the 24 has this very refining mind. It goes round and round and round, looking at all the different ways of a situation, how to get to the most refined point of view with it. And then the 44 is the gateway called coming to meet. It's one of the gateways of instinct, but coming to meet. It's not going to meet, it's coming to meet. As two people or two things approach each other, what is the inference? What is the instinct saying about this coming interaction? And so the 44 is very quick at reading situations. So this life theme, the life theme of influence, as a fixed fate, can be very direct, right? This is how I see it. Can be very influential and very imaginative as well, can look into things in ways that other people can't necessarily see, and really loves it when people get what it is they're pointing towards, what it is that's really catching their attention. They're basically very open in expressing their imaginations, and they can excite desires in people, excite fantasies in people. So again, type and authority is always very important with your life journey, trusting in your own authority. But people with this particular life theme can be very influential, very direct in pointing out things that other people don't get, don't see. Then we come to the interpersonal life theme of the alpha. And the alpha, honestly, is naturally the leader of the pack. And people that have this life theme, they'll just see, I'm in a place of leadership. People look to me to give guidance and leadership. But again, we know we're talking about 5-1, 5-2, 6-2, 6-3 profiles here. And so those with this life theme have to be really particular. Who am I leading and why? You know, does it just this natural assumption that I have to take charge in every situation? Or is it just I turn myself into a great rescuer? I'm constantly getting people back on the rails in their life, or being very deliberate in that. The 31 has to be really clear of who and what gets to hear from them, right? And what it is they're putting out. Is there a degree of imagination and opening up new possibilities? Or is it just direct, logical, this is the only way things can happen? And then with the 24, giving great perspective to the deeper realms of thought about what is the quality of life. It cannot be ignored. Am I taking people in a journey that's going to bring them some kind of clarification? Or is it just I'm very dogmatic in giving the leadership? And then the 44 is coming to meet, recognizing what are the interactions that take place here, remembering so many things. You know, the 44 has this connection into our cellular memory, very deep memory patterns. Very few of us have not met each other before on some level, you know, whether it was coming from the Big Bang or whatever it was where this universe commenced. We're all interrelated in some level or another. So the alpha has to be really, really clear in what kind of leadership they're giving. They have to be able to transcend challenges in all kinds of shapes and forms. And very often, people with this life theme, or just generally with this idea of being the ultimate leader, right? The alpha, the head of the pack, you know, there's one thing to be giving great guidance and to have people around you that are offering their input in a creative way. But there's another thing about, are the followers really contributing to what it is that you're doing? Or is it just you leading a singular charge in all things? A couple of people that have this particular life theme, Arnold Schwarzenegger, very quickly recognized the Terminator, the Alpha, right? Plays the plot to the max. And in his life as well, the gubernator from California. Also, Emily Bronte, right, changed her whole perspective in women's lives because of her authorship, her books, these extraordinary stories that she crafted, right, giving people a whole different possible perspective on life, like really expanding that. And then Henry Ford started a whole thing with cars and mass production, and everyone could get mobile and see the world. So just as some of the people that took that role of being the alpha. All of the life themes are here in this book of destinies, all 192 different life themes. We each have one for our lifetime, and they're part of the human design trilogy that we have here. To get your free report, there's a QR code on the left. To have a look at the human design trilogy here, the QR code to the right. So we put a lot of effort and a lot of work and a lot of study and research and thousands of readings and input from our clients and students. So we hope you tune into your life theme and really find out this is the life you are meant to live. This is the backdrop to your whole life experience. So that's it for today.